So I get asked this question a lot. Why do you love Arsenal so much? You're a fraud of a Manchester United fan. Why do you talk about the negative things and the sort of the banter and the absolute lies as said about Arsenal? What's your reason for it? And I suppose in the cold hard light of day, it's a number of things. But this idea that I'm an Arsenal fan, this idea that I prefer Arsenal to my own club, is an absolute nonsense. As you can see on the thumbnail, I see things said about Arsenal, which some I find absolutely egregious. Some things are horrible and disgusting. As you can see, the attack upon Declan Rice, this tweet that's going around, and a number of trolls, predominantly non-Arsenal fans, but then some of the sort of those weird gooners who hate on their own club, talking about Declan Rice having low standards because of their opinion of his wife or his girlfriend, her physical appearance, that is. Now, I don't even know if it's his wife or his girlfriend. I don't care. I don't care if she's a size 10 or a size 20. I don't care if she's tall or short. I don't care if she's, it doesn't matter what she is. I don't care. And I don't think any football fan, to a degree, really should. But I see these types of attacks on Arsenal, and I don't defend them because they're Arsenal. I defend them because I think it's subhuman to attack people in this way. I then see people give their critique against Arsenal. And as you can see by another one of, I can't put the screens up because I'm away. I'm not in my studio. I can't put it up on the screen. But you'll see in the thumbnail, there's a tweet from a, I think he's a Man United fan based on his name being Billy Meredith, who was a Man United player many, many moons ago. But talking about how last season was an anomaly for Arsenal and it won't happen again. And then what you see is there's many a Man United fan, many a Chelsea fan, many a Liverpool fan that had that opinion last year. Then what happens is they're wrong. And instead of being men, instead of being adults, instead of being grown-ups, instead of being mature and saying, I got it wrong, they are challenging again. Or I got it wrong, they are actually quite a good team. Do you know what, Terry? They did start this season slowly, but I can see it was part of their plan now. Instead, they either double down on their delusion, the double dip delusion I like to call it, and start chatting nonsense. And the reason why I call it out isn't because they're attacking Arsenal per se, it's because of the precedent it sets within the game. And I care about football. I care about the cultural element it has in my country and around the world. I care about where football stems from. It's an important part of my life, and I love the discourse around it. But I like the discourse to be intellectually honest at all times, barring when banter, when laughter, when jokes are appropriate. And we now live in a world where I actually think people say it's banter, say it's a joke to mask and cover up their own insecurities, their own anger, their own frustrations. And the reason I call it out is this. Let's take it away from Arsenal for a moment. So the other day we were doing a stream, and we were praising Phil Foden. And Phil Foden deserves every single bit of praise that he gets. No doubt about it. He's amazing. In my opinion, world class. Within a few minutes of saying this, though, there's a Man City fan on the panel, a man like Hamza, hope he's well. And he starts talking about Saka. Unprompted, starts bringing Saka into the conversation. Now, I also rate Saka very highly. I think Saka's an absolutely phenomenal talent. And he starts talking about how Foden's better because he scores more goals from open play and starts attacking Saka for scoring penalties. He then goes on to talk about how Saka predominantly scores tap-ins where Foden scores better quality goals. That makes him better. And this is what I mean by Hamza's dislike for Arsenal, Hamza's hate for Arsenal actually discredits his own football team. So in attacking the tap-ins that Bukayo Saka scores, Saka, by the way, also scores a lot of great goals. But let's just say, let's just live in that hypothetical that he only scores tap-ins. By you attacking Saka, you're inadvertently, indirectly, via friendly fire, killing Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland predominantly scores one-on-ones and tap-ins. I think that's a tremendous skill to have. I think being as good as Haaland is, as finding the spaces, being in the right place at the right time, having that finishing touch, is one of the hardest skills and one of the most finite commodities in the game. But suddenly a Man City fan, just in his pursuit to either one, win one little battle in the Foden versus Saka argument, or two, through his disdain for Arsenal, he goes and corrupts the talk about his own player. That's why I defend it. When I see Arsenal Football Club, and I stand by it, right, in the last 2 years, no one has suffered more poor punditry, terrible banter and attacks than Arsenal when it's been unjust. I'll get on to Man United in a minute. People just cannot accept that they're good again. They cannot accept they're not in the mud. They cannot accept that they were wrong about what Arteta was trying to build. Now, they may end up being right. I still don't know whether he's going to win a major trophy. But where they were wrong is they even laughed at the idea they'd be a top 4 team. They even laughed at the idea they could get anywhere near a title race. So moving the goalpost and saying, yeah, but he hasn't won the big trophies, so I'm not wrong. But you are, because your prediction was to stay a mid-table team. So it doesn't matter whether he wins the league or not. You're still wrong. But instead of just being a man and accepting it, you start to attack them. But when you start to discredit them, as per the example I just gave about Saka, I'm using an individual player in that motion, what you end up doing is attacking your own team, your own club, your own legends, your own players. And I don't like that discourse in football. So I speak about it. And based on the amount of people that watch, I know I get a lot of shit from a lot of you. Another Arsenal video. Oh, he's praising Arsenal again. I talk about Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, loads. They're probably the biggest 3 clubs we talk about on the Football Terrace if you go through the full titles of our videos and the subject matter. Liverpool, we do a fair bit about, but there's not a lot of news around Liverpool. There's such a tight-knit club. Not a lot typically comes out as an example. Spurs and City are just smaller. So there's less stories, there's less attention, there's less trending sort of situations regarding those clubs. But at the same time, if you go back 3 or 4 years ago, I was waxing lyrical about Liverpool. 3 or 4 years before that, the things I was saying about Manchester City, and stand by until this day. But what I'm not going to do at any point, because this would make me feel fake, I'm not going to sit there and watch a lie be told. You know, I've seen people before turn around and say that Arsenal's trophies from the 30s and the 40s are not relevant today because they're so long ago. I'm going to defend Arsenal in that particular argument because my club has got trophies from nearly 100 years ago that I want to keep relevant. So I can't sit back and join in with the nonsense because people say it's just banter. I don't believe them anymore. I have genuinely got to a point where I don't believe they see it as banter. I truly believe they see it as a way of tarnishing and putting down a rival club. And they want to create a discourse, they want to create a narrative, they want to create a story that holds water. So whether it's sick attacks on a player's wife and a player's personal life, his children and family, I'll defend it. If it's banter, which is just a mask for hatred that undoes top quality players, whether it is Haaland, whether it is Ryan Giggs, whether it is Thierry Henry, I'm going to call it out no matter what is going on. And I'm not going to discredit a club's history because if you allow those things to exist in the football conversation, your own club's history, achievements, legends can be eroded. And I think that that's why we do what we do partly, is to ensure that certain stories and certain narratives, certain truths, certain opinions are told and heard. And the only reason people have an issue with me praising Arsenal is they still have not either matured enough as an adult or come to terms with the fact that Arsenal are no longer a rubbish team, that Arsenal are no longer the whipping boys. And as soon as you get over that, you're not going to be triggered by positivity surrounding Arsenal Football Club. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. And just remember what my main overarching prediction has been in the last 2 years. All I've really said is they'll become title contenders. When they got 5, 6, 7 points clear last season, then I said, I think they're going to win the league. And I got that little part wrong. But the rest of it's been absolutely spot on. And it isn't because I know more about football than you. It isn't because I'm Nostradamus. It isn't because I'm Mystic Meg and I can tell the future. It's because you can see the level of performances have been very, very good, predominantly speaking, for a 2-year period. And that consistency in performance is where quality is built and where sustained attacks towards titles and trophies begins. As ever, look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in. Please hit the like button before you leave. Big shout out to KJ that's getting married today. He's probably already married when you're seeing this video, and I'm already there at the wedding. Probably a few sherbets in as well. Couple of bevies in. as it goes. But hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing to the Football Terrace. And look, you haven't got to like Arsenal. You haven't got to praise Arsenal. But be very careful about what you say. Because typically speaking, you're either going to embarrass yourself or take away from your own club. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. See you soon. Peace.